So the fractal meta hasn't really changed that much over the years, besides the incorporation of Sunquo Peak and Silent Surf, which are both Condi DPS preferred fights. However, after completing those two fractals, the rest of the challenge modes, being 98, the Shattered Observatory, 97, Nightmare, and the remaining tier 4 fractals, are often done with power classes. You will see that oftentimes your CDPS Scourge goes Power Reaper, your Condi Virtuoso swaps over to Power Spellbreaker or Power Vindicator, but the true king of power DPS classes is the Power Soulbeast, which is the class that has hard carried the Fractal speed clear groups for years now. Before we get into the build, I'd like to thank everybody who has subscribed up to this point, and if you are new here or haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. The Power Soulbeast is one of the easiest builds to gear and play with a few different weapon options. My personal preference is to play with axe, and hammer, though you can swap main hand axe with sword and hammer with longbow for similar or even better results in some encounters. There are also a few changes that you can make to the build for extra group support. First things first, like most power builds, this build can be accomplished using full Berserker's gear, Scholar runes, Relic of the Firework, and using the pig or the red Moa as a pet. The pig gives you a decent amount of damage on all three pet skills and is the current meta choice. As I said, this build can be played with sword axe or axe in the main hand, with longbow or hammer in your offhand, and if you're just learning this build, you can use sword axe only to get pretty close to the maximum burst if you want to minimize the number of buttons that you need to keep track of. The build utilizes Skirmishing, Beast Mastery, and Soul Beast, with the key traits being Strider's Strength, Honed Axes, Twice as Vicious, and the Grandmaster trait in Soul Beast either being Oppressive Superiority for maximum DPS or Leader of the Pack for more group support. If you want a set and forget build for multiple content types, then I suggest you leaving it on Leader of the Pack, even though Oppressive Superiority does give you the highest DPS in longer fights. This is even more true if you are the only Soul Beast in your group or in your subgroup. Leader of the Pack will be more valuable. The playstyle of this build is around stacking damage modifiers and blowing as many high impact skills as possible within the window that your damage modifiers are active. Essentially, you'll be using your Axe 4, your Longbow 4, or your Hammer 3 to trigger Twice as Vicious, using Sikkim and One Wolf Pack, and then spamming as many skills as possible within that window. One Wolf Pack has close to double the cooldown of Sikkim, so you'll only be able to use One Wolf Pack with your Sikkim burst every other burst window. You can upkeep Twice as Vicious with just Axe 4 because the cooldowns sync up nicely. The key skill that you always want to activate in this burst window is your Axe 5. You're essentially stacking these buffs to get the maximum damage out of your Axe 5. The rest of your skills should be spammed quickly before and after your Axe 5 burst while you have Sikkim and One Wolf Pack active. I've cleared multiple raids, strikes, along with Fractal tier 4s, challenge modes with this build with high success, often topping the DPS charts with the setup that I've described in this video. As you play and get more familiar with this build and how you generate damage from it, you will see opportunities to weave in hammer skills if you choose to utilize it. I have found that both builds are pretty comparable to each other, so pick your preference when it comes to weapon choices and try to get your priority skills off within the burst window that you set up for yourself. Speed is important, but execution is more important. If you like this video or found it helpful, consider dropping a like. If I made a mistake or you have extra information about the build, leave a comment and I'll pin it for visibility. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more Guild Wars 2 content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.